morning, chat. Do I sound like a demon this morning? Are we good? Are we vibing right now? Hopefully so. I know it's a little delayed to get this video even up because I wasn't even sure we were gonna have baseball after I rolled out of bed. I had some, like, if you guys were hanging with me on Twitch last night, I had concerns all night about that Marlins situation. I saw that they hadn't left Philly, and it's just, wouldn't you know it, man? Like a third of their personnel down with the COVID, down with the sickness, man. So that has led to the Yankees and Phillies game getting postponed, and the Marlins and Orioles game getting postponed. So an already weird slate time-wise, loses 2 games. But it's the right thing to do. I mean, we're living in some weird times. Pretty soon, there's going to be a scheduled meeting with all 30 owners. So maybe by the end of this podcast, or by the end of this live stream, we'll have even more information or more decisions that are made and publicized. But it's an unsettling day. What are you going to do? What up, ACP? What up, Chadwick Richardson? What up, Jim? Damn, Ron. He's on an alt account today. Man. Hopefully you guys are vibing well this morning. A little Monday morning live stream. We are setting precedents this weekend, man. We are doing streams at times that we've never done. And I've definitely not done a whole lot of MLB live streams early in the day. But Saturday and Sunday, I did 2 8 a.m. streams. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it going. We got scheduled basketball at the end of this week. The plan for that is to do basketball night streams before every night. And probably do baseball streams or baseball pre-recorded content overnight. So we'll do that. Nonetheless, man, we can only prepare. We can only control what we can control. And right now, as of this moment, we still have baseball tonight. We still have MLB DFS tonight. And I still got a bang to drink. So let's go ahead and pop that. Let's get ready to talk some baseball, man. I hope tonight will be a pretty successful night for everyone, man. What up, Pat? What up, Justin Jennings? HB says, I need this Dodgers-Astro game tomorrow. Right? Like, imagine if we thought the season was dead in 2 days. If you're the Dodgers, just every baseball just end up in the in the Astros player's back. Ah, man. Bang is so good. Hey, we put the RunDFS.com website back online. So, going forward, you don't have to DM me on Twitter to get set up. You can still if you want to, but you don't have to. You go to RunDFS.com at the top. Make an account, get signed in, click VIP passes, and we have the week pass now at $25, 2 weeks $45, a month pass at $80, and you get locked into January 1st for $300. God willing, it'll include all of the sports that I specialize in: baseball, NBA, NFL. We are scheduled to continue having NASCAR, which has been fine. Hockey's coming back in a couple days. I might dabble with that. And, of course, those cats in that Discord, they're grinding all the sports: MMA, esports, League of Legends, you name it. So what do you get with the subscription? Well, you're going to get access to the spreadsheets. We'll be navigating the baseball spreadsheet throughout the duration of this stream. But you also get access to that 24/7 VIP Discord. And I think that's one of the biggest pluses of a subscription. Such a really tight knit, awesome community we got going on here. I mean, so many people and so many subscribers in here, chopping it up on all fronts. And we'll have some. We'd love to have you guys jump in there every day before lock. We have a pre-lock voice chat. So today, since lock is a little bit earlier, about an hour earlier for FanDuel, what time would that crank up? So FanDuel's first game is 6, so 5 Eastern, so probably 3 or 5 Central, so probably 3 Central. I'll be hanging around, and you guys can get acquainted with the crew. It's usually lots of fun, lots of laughs. You guys are more than welcome to come sign up. What up, Kenny? Also, if you're on Twitter, twitter.com/GundeckerSports. If you didn't want to make a RunDFS.com account, you have PayPal. You can actually DM me. I'll get you set up that way. Whatever floats your boat, man, I will work with you. But yeah, wild day for news and stuff like that. But let's talk about the slate in itself. We have, I think we're down to 8 games on one site, right? Let me get my. I think we're down to 8 games on DraftKings. Let me refresh that. So you take off the Yankee game, you take off the Orioles game, and 2 less games on FanDuel as well. The nuance to this slate, if you play both sites, DraftKings will not start their main slate until 5:40. Whereas FanDuel is going to crank their stuff up at 6:05 Eastern, so they're going to add that Blue Jays-Washington game, and you will not have to deal with that game on DraftKings. So if you guys are playing both sites, prioritize your FanDuel lineups first, and then you can go back and get your DraftKings stuff going. There's always the benefit of late swap, but you get that 40-minute stagger to finalize your entries pre-flop on FanDuel and decide if you even want to have exposure to that Toronto Blue Jays game. And we'll talk about that. So let's pull up the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet and get cranked up with game numero uno, again, only on FanDuel. Blue Jays at the Washington Nationals. Nationals surrendering the series 2-1 to the New York Yankees yesterday. They will be pitching Anibal Sanchez, and he'll be up against Trent Thornton. Trent Thornton brings a 6-pitch mix to his 2020 debut as he works to cement himself as a long-term rotational piece. He was sharp in camp, but is focusing more now on efficiency to get deeper into games. He'll be up against the veteran Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez has faced the Blue Jays in 13 games in his career. 11 of those starts with a 3-5 record and a 5.82 ERA. He's coming off a 2019 regular season in which he was 2-0 with a 1.29 ERA in his last 2 starts at Nats Park. So the theme of today's slate is basically yuck at pitching. There's not a whole lot of warm and fuzzy at pitcher to be had, and this kind of gets that started. We have an implied run total of 5.6 for the Nationals, 5.1 for the Blue Jays. Sanchez, 7,200 on FanDuel. Last year, an xFIP at 4.78 against lefties, 5.36 against righties. A sub 20% strikeout percentage to both sides of the plate. A clear 4% swing from the season prior, and his swing and strike rate still about 10%. So a high Sierra, high xFIP, obviously not going to be somebody you can feel warm and fuzzy about pitching today. He's going against a talented young Blue Jays offense that will probably like a change of scenery coming out of Tropicana, a more pitchers-friendly, a muggy situation there. This one we're going to play outdoors for a bit and see if these bats keep it going. We got Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, Vlad Guerrero, a lot of guys that do kind of pique my interest here because Sanchez does allow some power, a 1.39 home run per 9 to lefties last season, and over a 1 to righties. So guys like Biggio, Travis Shaw, even Rowdy Tellez has a little bit of pop, are all like back pocket solo plays. I don't think I'm going to find myself stacking either team on the front end, but certainly some cherry pick options. I think this game, being that it's only on FanDuel, I mean, you could assess the slate and decide whether you even want exposure to this game. But I mean, if you're on FanDuel, maybe you do take some extra stabs at this game just because the bulk of the player base is probably studying the rest of the slate. Trent Thornton, in and of himself, also allowed some power. 1.43 homer per nine last year to lefties, 1.36 homer per nine high line drive rate, and a average to below average hard contact rate. Sierra just under 5, as well as his xFIP. So maybe there is some room for improvement. I mean, the fact that this guy has, we would say, 6 pitches in his arsenal. I mean, how do you not build on that and become a guy that can get more strikeouts? Why even have 6 pitches if you're going to be a contact pitcher? So I'm curious to see how he progresses with that. Last year we saw those pitches: fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, changeup. The velocity not very egregious in difference. A 93 mile an hour fastball, which is always going to likely grade negative, and it does here. And he doesn't lose a lot of steam behind it for some of his secondary pitches. So maybe that's why he's not really getting a lot of strikeouts here. So might be something to watch. I don't think I'm going to pitch either one of these guys. And then we're just cherry picking bats here. Adam Eaton at 2,900 on FanDuel. A good hit for average guy that maybe could take advantage of his line drive and power issues. Eaton, of course, has looked decent to start the season. He homered on opening day. Howie Kendrick has been shown a lot of respect. Yesterday, the Yankees walked him twice to load the bases for Eric Thames, and Eric Thames struck out. Kendrick batting .326 against righties over the course of the last 2 years. Certainly a spot where he could take advantage of this .270 average allowed by Thornton, also with a high line drive rate. So I actually don't hate the idea of picking some Nats here. Turner homered yesterday as well. So I can see myself rostering Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, Kendrick, and then Thames becomes a little bit more playable for today. I've avoided him the last 3 days because he has a over 30% strikeout rate. He's going against a guy whose swing and strike rate goes down a little bit, and he's got just a 22.5% K rate to lefties. So this isn't terrible, but I still feel a little bit more okay with rostering high strikeout guys with a guy who just has a 10% swing and strike rate and doesn't really have high velocity. So I can see myself getting on board some Eric Thames here. I'll tell you what, overall, the Nat stack is actually pretty efficient financially or economically friendly on FanDuel outside of maybe Trey Turner. So I'll take a couple Nats here and maybe some one-offs on some Blue Jays. What up, Earth to Air? Don't know who to pitch yet. Pitching is going to be quite adventurous tonight. All right, speaking of adventurous, the Reds hosting the Cubs. The reason I use that as a segue, because we all know that the Marlins and Orioles postpone, the Yankees, Phillies postpone. The Reds have been low-key going through some stuff over the weekend, too. Matt Davidson was diagnosed with a positive result on having COVID on Saturday, I believe. And then yesterday, Mike Moustakas and Nick Senzel are scratched due to illness with COVID-like symptoms. And I believe they even put Mike Moustakas on like a COVID IL. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they did that. The Reds could have a little bit of an outbreak going on in their locker room. And I think as the day progresses, we might see some more information on that. And if that spread even more, maybe, just maybe, that game might be a candidate for some tough decisions by owners to kind of cancel that. And, of course, that would be exposure to the Tigers, and then, of course, the Cubs coming in. So just keep an eye on that asterisk. We'll see this game. Again, all the owners are supposed to have some conference call here probably before this stream even ends. So maybe they discuss this. On the bump here, John Lester taking on Wade Miley, a battle of two veteran southpaws. John Lester, the opening day starter last year. He's 36 years old. He's going to begin this season as the Cubs' number 4 arm. Last year, he posted a 4.02 ERA with 20 strikeouts and 7 walks in 15 and 2/3 innings against the Reds. He'll be up against Wade Miley. This is going to be Miley's Reds debut after he signed a 2-year contract over the offseason. Unlike the other 4 in Cincy's rotation, he isn't a power pitcher, but he offers a quick pace and will keep hitters off balance. Wade Miley, the king of quality quality starts, or at least limiting damage, has not had a blow-up game, or at least more than a couple of blow-up games in a long time. And if you guys have played DFS the last couple seasons, we've always kind of projected him to have that game, a 4.8 Sierra, 4.52 xFIP, but his ground ball rate being at 50% plus has really kind of helped him eat some innings and thrive just fine. So I think a lot of people will be interested in Cubs bats today. I wouldn't talk off it. Obviously, Chris Bryant against a lefty is always in play, slugging 670 over the course of the last couple of years. Javi Baez, definitely guys that are going to project really, really well on just about any chart. But just keep in mind that Miley does have that knack for being a little bit trolly. Let me see if I can find that. Miley consecutive starts. I think he's got like just two games in like his last, I don't know, 40-something games where he's allowed more than 3 runs. So, fun little fact there. It's 23, yeah, it's like 30 games. But John Lester's 9,200 on DraftKings, 8,600 on FanDuel. Also an elevated Sierra in xFIP. As I mentioned, the Reds lineup might be a little bit more watered down than normal because of already losing Moustakas and Matt Davidson and potentially Nick Senzel. I'm curious to see if he gets a negative test and comes out today. But they are an offense. If this game does play without hesitation, they are an offense that I'm really excited to play. I want to say there's a couple guys here. You might have seen Eugenio Suarez as the cover boy here. I love Suarez against lefties. I love him with his potential to hit for a big pop. 586 slugging against lefties the last couple seasons. Nick Castellanos coming in from Detroit. He hits lefties at an incredible tick. If Phil Ervin leads off this lineup, I mean, this lineup is in potential or in position to do some big damage here. Let's go to John Lester's Fangraphs card. And I'm curious to pull up his road splits last year. Last year on the road, his ERA went up a little bit, 4.69. Average allowed went down. In 86 innings, he gave up 13 bombs. So not a drastic flip-flop or anything like that, but I do like these Reds against lefties. Also, if you're a BVP guy, Eugenio Suarez, he'll be your Huckleberry, what the... he has 6 home runs off of John Lester in 42 at-bats, batting 381. So one of the more larger sample sizes that you'll get when people discuss BVP with some really, really good results. So gotta love Eugenio Suarez today. Affordable on both sites. I mean, being 400 under 5K on DraftKings, we've seen some sus names at 5K or more the last couple days. And then I can easily justify that on FanDuel as well. Again, this is going to be that game that I keep my eye on all day as I wait for more and more news about what the league might be doing in response to COVID and potential outbreaks. But I do like me some Reds. I don't think I'm going to pitch either guy here. John Lester's swing and strike rate is at 9%, 8.5% the year prior. So he's purely, basically a contact pitcher. I got really no interest in getting 9K on him. And then against Wade Miley as a contact lefty against righties, he does allow a near 270 average, over 1 home run per 9. So that could play into the hands of Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, guys like that. He does have some lefty power splits, which seems to be isolated to just last season. With just 33.6% hard contact to lefties, which is way below league average. But he had a 156 home run per 9. That seems to be a metrical outlier. But if that were to sustain, we have seen Kyle Schwarber hit a home run off of Brent Suter over the weekend, who is a lefty for the Brewers. So maybe you can buy into that. And of course, Rizzo can hit anybody, right? So what else you guys got in the live chat? If you guys have picks and plays and news and stuff like that, drop it in the live chat, especially if some news drops about what's going on today. Spam me in chat. I'll do my best to keep an eye on it. What up, Eric? What pitcher should I pick between the early slate? You mean like the Angels, Athletics, Diamondbacks, Padres? Dude, pitching is bad everywhere, right? I'd probably take a stab at Griffin Canning and hope that ballpark can help him out. But geez, that's a dart throw, coin flip all the way around, man. This whole day is a little rough for pitching. Wish I could play Bryant and Suarez. Can't you? Well, not on DraftKings, I guess. On FanDuel, you can use that util spot. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Also, look for the short slate contest on DraftKings, because you could play multiple players at each position. They just roster one pitcher, a couple infielders, a couple outfielders, and two utils. So if you guys ever really wanted to simplify some games or some slates, definitely recommend checking that out. Obviously, the money out there, the prize pools and stuff like that, not as steep as they might be elsewhere, but fun to play. I like playing tiers too. All right, let's move on to the next game here. What do you say? Braves at the Rays. Braves put it on the Mets last night. Oofa. Which I was hoping they would do that against Steven Matz, but didn't quite work out that way. Mike Foltynewicz taking the bump for the Atlanta Braves. Folty was a Cy Young Award candidate in 2018, but injuries led him to struggle during most of last season. He finished last year in encouraging fashion, but his velocity was down when he faced the Marlins in an exhibition game last Tuesday. He'll be slotted to go against Tyler Glasnow. Before suffering a mild forearm strain, Glasnow was one of the top pitchers in the American League. The Rays right-hander went 6-1 with a 1.78 ERA in 12 starts last season. Glasnow also recorded 76 strikeouts and 60 and two-thirds innings. So this is a very unique leverage spot to talk about Glasnow. He's 8,900 on DraftKings. He's almost 10K on FanDuel. The reason why I think he becomes an opportunity at leverage is because if you look at the conglomerate of pitchers that we have to choose from today, Glasnow is easily the most talented, right? Everyone outside of Josh James of the Astros, who was working a lot as a reliever, everyone has like a 4+ Sierra, right? So Glasnow is by default going to be one of the highest owned pitchers. Heck, yesterday was like an 11-game main slate, and Trevor Bauer pushed 50% owned in a lot of my contests. I think the same goes for Glasnow here. So I think if you were really brave and looking to be contrarian in maybe some bigger field tournaments, you make a large concentration of lineups without Glasnow and wonder if that 9K or that near 10K price tag on FanDuel is something that you could fade if he had an average to below average game, or if he even doesn't go 5 innings. So just something to think about throughout the day. I think in and of himself, he's one of the most talented. But when his ownership starts pushing 40-50%, for me, I start having to discuss him as an all or nothing play, right? Either I go extremely overweight versus the field on my personal ownership on Glasnow, or I just like fade it, because that's really how baseball works. A recent example of that, yesterday, the two of the highest owned hitters on the slate were Jose Peraza and JD Martinez. They combined for 0 points. Baseball works like that, right? Some of your guys are gonna fail 70% of the time. So in tournaments, you can really take advantage of pivoting off of high owned plays and just using that as leverage. And outside of like historic games, a lot of times you're not going to fail just because you made that decision. So just kind of keeping that out there. I don't know how deep we should project Glasnow to go anyway, right? Kind of their one of their golden goose projects with a little bit of an injury history. Hopefully he can stretch to 5 for everyone that's going to play him. I think between 50 and 70 pitches are the two estimates that I've heard, but I would love to be able to verify that. Because 50 is a area where I would probably stay away. 70 is like, okay, well, that's what most people are doing. And if he had 70 to 80 pitches, he does have strikeout potential. With that said, the reverse here is I don't think the Braves are a bad team, and I don't think they're necessarily a team that I would love any 10K pitcher against, outside of maybe like DeGrom. And especially after Braves put on a little bit of scoring clinic last night. It makes me think, that momentum could carry over. So I'm really thinking about taking a risky stand at going the other way on Glasnow today and hoping I can find a diamond in the rough elsewhere. Because I think it does feel like overall this is going to be a pretty big bullpen slate, and I just have to hope for the best. So if Glasnow had a middling to bad outing, like I don't know, maybe a trendy Shohei Ohtani yesterday didn't get an out, or Zach Greinke let everyone down. If he had one of those, less than 16 DKP games, I feel like that was the right play. So he's definitely one of the game theory decisions of the day. Depending on his projected ownership, for me it's an all or nothing. Either I have like 0% or I just click the lock button on him and bet on his floor. With that said, if I was going to play some Glasnow, and I wanted to be a little bit over the field, maybe I put the field at 40 to 50, and I wanted to maybe get 65, 70, I would absolutely run what they call hedge stacks in mass entry. I would have a bunch of Braves stacks floating around out there to kind of at least give me an opportunity to benefit in big tournaments if the highest owned pitcher got beat up, because typically the highest owned pitcher is going against the lowest owned stack. So I definitely think it stands to reason to use some game theory and pull out some Braves lineups tonight. Acuna, Albies, Freeman, Ozuna, and Matt Adams, all guys I wouldn't mind rostering. And then maybe a sneaky bottom of the lineup bomb from like a Riley or Inciarte when I get into the pen. The Rays do have a good bullpen. Their pitching's much better than the Mets, so don't try and chase all those runs last night. But hopefully the concept of what I was talking about at least makes sense to you guys. Foltynewicz is 8K on FanDuel, 10.3 on DraftKings. Last year, a 10.5% swing and strike rate. Nothing to write home about on Sierra and XFIP. If you wanted to play him, you're just hoping that this pitcher's park kind of plays in his favor and he backdoors into a strong outing. I don't think I could ever play him on DraftKings. I mean, the fact that he is almost, what is that, over $1,000 more than Glasnow on DraftKings, that's just out of the picture for me for the most part. But AK on FanDuel, if he has an average game and maybe luck boxes into a win or a quality start, sure, go for it. The more I look at it, Glasnow on DraftKings seems to be like a guy that could project for 60+% own, honestly. I think the game theory for me is going the other way on FanDuel. DraftKings with a dual position eligibility, or excuse me, a two pitcher site. It's just yikes. That's gonna be a tough decision, right? See what you guys got on FanDuel. You can on FanDuel, yeah, definitely on FanDuel. I think you can. Are you talking about for the Bryant thing? What's up, Gentry? Hope you're driving safe. Make sure to subscribe to the Run DFS OnlyFans. Okay, buddy. You on Sportsbook? No. My girlfriend to shoot you that 25. That's what's up. Yo, Mike. Mike. If she's already sent the 25, I'll set you up. But just know that the RunDFS.com website is back up as a storefront to get in. So if you pull that up, RunDFS.com, click VIP passes, and then you know, Mike, you know how to get in here. You click VIP passes and do what you do, and then you can use card or whatever. MLB is about to get canceled. Maybe. It definitely should be a conversation to be had. I've been kind of tweeting about it all morning. It's just an embarrassing situation in retrospect, because, man, it seemed like all baseball cared about was talking about money and how many games to be played, and they weren't really putting a lot of public emphasis and reassurance about the precautions they were taking. Whereas basketball, that's all you heard was, we're going to create this bubble, we're going to get it going. And to their credit, I mean, it might sound frivolous and childish, but if you guys have been paying attention to the NBA bubble and their little camp that's going on, I mean, guys are getting removed in quarantine for crossing a quote-unquote line to go get delivery food from Postmates or whatever. Lou Will, sneaks out, goes to a strip club. He's getting quarantined. People that leave have to quarantine before coming back in. I mean, they're doing it right. It sounds super strict and heavy guidelines, but I mean, that's what needs to be done. And I really think, like, in my lifetime, Adam Silva is like the best league sports commissioner ever. And like Rob Manfred could go down as like the worst. Like, it's crazy how opposite sides of the spectrum those two are. All right, let's move on to the next game before I get on a soapbox. Pirates hosting the Brewers. Adrian Hauser taking the bump against Stephen Brault. So this might be one of those edge spots. Adrian Hauser, after moving into the rotation full-time last July, he posted a 3.28 ERA in a dozen starts, allowing a mere 286 on-base percentage against him. The Brewers are hoping for another step forward. He'll be up against Stephen Brault. Brault will start the home opener. How long he will pitch and how the piggyback plan will work, it remains to be seen, but they're counting on Brault to work multiple innings in his first outing of the year. I did some digging on this situation, and it does sound like Chad Kuhl is the most likely long reliever to follow him. So, Kuhl is not a lefty. Chad Kuhl, you guys might remember him. He had some problems against lefties in 2018, a 206 home run per nine. If he comes in and he continues to have those type of issues, he might be a fun guy to project like a Christian Yelich against as a middle inning at bat. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Maybe if you're jotting down notes, Chad Kuhl is somebody you guys might want to do some research on, because there's a good chance that he might go 3 or 4 innings, right? Hauser, last season against righties, a 25% K rate with a really nice xFIP under 3, a low walk rate. But his numbers against lefties were not so nice. A 41% hard contact rate, high average allowed, and an over 4.4 xFIP. So this would clearly be a situation for me where I would feel much better about playing Hauser if this Pirates lineup came out a little bit more righty heavy. And I just don't think that's going to happen. They got a pair of switch hitters and guys like Adam Frazier, Colin Moran as guys to play. Now, Jarrod Dyson's not a guy that I'm scared to hit for high average, but if he's going to put the ball in play, his type of speed gets on, and we have a problem to turn the order over. With that said, 6K on FanDuel, I could be a buyer. Because this is going to be PNC plays a little bit more pitcher friendly, so it might be a spot for Hauser at 6K on FanDuel, 8,300 on DraftKings. Can I get 15 or less on DK and maybe shoot at 30 on FanDuel? I'm not expecting a lot from pitching today. The more we talk about these AK pitchers on DraftKings and compare it to like the built-in underlying advanced metrics for like a Tyler Glasnow with his Sierra, his swinging strike rate, stuff like that, it's hard to click one name over that. But I probably will end up with more than 0% Adrian Hauser today, unless we get news to change that. Because I am encouraged by his strikeout ability. 1 in 4 strikeouts to both sides of the plate. And against righties, he can really get it done. The overall K rates for the Pirates, though, pretty low. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with a 20%-ish K rate against righties the last 2 seasons. So if I have some Hauser, it's going to be in the orange exposure chart. Wouldn't be a core player or anything like that, just a guy that's in the pool, and if he made something happen, it'll be happening. But outside of that, I don't really want to run here. The Brewers had middling results in that Wrigley series. We did see some homers out of guys like Christian Yelich, Justin Smoke. If Justin Smoke and Christian Yelich are both in the lineup today, and they do get a chance to go against Chad Kuhl, both of these guys could take advantage of Chad Kuhl's splits against lefties. Let me pull up Kuhl's Fangraphs card and then kind of see what he did last season. If he even played in the bigs. I don't think he played the bigs last year. No. .2018 though, high average to righties, lots of power to lefties. Was he out for like Tommy John, or he just straight up missed the whole season? Let me check to see if he. I feel like people don't just miss a whole season, but we'll see. I'll pull up MLB to see if he was in the minors last year. 2019. No, I guess he must have had like a surgery or something. Anyway. Give me Yelich, give me Justin Smoke. Normally I'd give you the whole spiel about Yelich's price point, but pitchers are probably not going to run you a lot of money today, so I probably wouldn't overthink the prices on my hitters if I thought they were in plus spots to take advantage of, right? All right, what else got? Shouldn't cancel because of one of Outbreak. She just said it. That's fine, Mike. I'll get you set up when I get off the air. It's fine. It's no big deal. Kuehl was just in the KBO. Oh, he's in the KBO. All right, so if he like crushed it in the KBO, be careful about overrating that. Right? We see Dan Straley is like Clayton Kershaw over there, and we see that in the World Baseball Classic. Guys that are average to below average in the majors are monsters in leagues with lesser talent, but it's good to know that he's been getting work, right? So I don't know how he did in the KBO. I'm just saying be careful if he projected as like a monster over there. But with that said, if Steven Brault's only projected to pitch an inning or two, I would remove him from your player pools. I just don't think it's worth it. No matter what, there's no way he goes 5 innings here. So I'm just not even going to flirt with it, right? Let's move on to the next game, Mariners at the Astros. So I think this game is going to present the second most chalkiest pitcher, Josh James of the Astros. And I think if you're in cash games or if you're in single entries, the majority of your lineups are going to look like Josh James and Tyler Glasnow, just because of, like I said, if you look at that metric chart, these guys are going to feature the lowest Sierra from last season, extremely high swing and strike rates, and high K potential. With Josh James, however, the argument against him is it's just not the same on FanDuel as it is on DraftKings, right? So check this out. On FanDuel, they're daring you basically to fade him at 67. So I talked about how Glasnow is almost 10K on FanDuel. His range of outcomes and failure at that price are a lot lower. Whereas on DraftKings, he's actually respectably priced, especially in contrast to Tyler Glasnow, 8,600. He's only a couple of hundred less than Glasnow. So on FanDuel, Josh James will probably, I would assume, exceed Tyler Glasnow's ownership without even like thinking about it. And on DraftKings, I think him and Glasnow are your highest owned combo. So Kendall Graveman's pitching for the Mariners. He was the opening day starter for the A's in 2016 and 2017. He's going to make his first start since May 11, 2018, as he's now recovered from Tommy John surgery. He's 4-3 with a 3.71 ERA and 9 starts against the Astros. Josh James, who spent all of last season in the bullpen, returns to his roots as the team's 4th starter. He posted a 14.77 strikeouts per 9 ratio last year as a rookie. All right, so I've mentioned it a couple times over the weekend. Josh James is going to project probably way higher strikeout-wise than we should put him at. Having a near 40% K rate is not going to happen as a starter. When these guys come out of the bullpen, they're being specifically put in matchups that benefit them, and they can throw a lot harder because they have to go a lot shorter. I'm not saying he's not going to be a strikeout beast here, but 38%, 37% seems a little bit on the high side. He still did exhibit some power problems to lefties, but the xFIP against righties I can live with. xFIP to lefties on this slate we can live with at under 4, and a low average allowed overall. Let's pull up his FanGraphs card. He will likely be my highest owned pitcher on FanDuel just because it does feel like a low risk, high reward chalk block versus Tyler Glasnow, who's almost 10K, and there's a larger range of outcomes for him to be a problem, right? Let's go look at his BABIP. I'm curious. BABIP 333, 278, so average. High walk rate to both sides of the plate, too. 16% to lefties last year. I don't know. Mariners kind of trolled us yesterday against Zach Greinke. But yeah, he'll easily be my highest owned FanDuel pitcher. Easily. Kendall Graveman. Interesting prices on both sites because you don't need a whole lot in return. And I think I read or heard in my Discord yesterday, that Graveman had been throwing like 97. So he might bring some heat. It's never fun to pitch against the Astros or roster a pitcher against the Astros. But just kind of thinking out loud. I guess I don't have. Let's go pull up his pitch report from, I guess, 2 seasons ago. Or really, we could just pull up last season to just see what pitches he was using. So last year, 94 mile an hour fastball. Maybe I'm tripping. I swear I read that he was throwing 97. Let me Twitter search that. Kendall Graveman miles per hour. I don't want to lie. So what I did was search Kendall Graveman miles per hour on Twitter. It says he threw a 95 mile an hour fastball to get Braden Bishop looking blah, blah, blah. He threw 96. This is all from this season, this month. He threw 3 innings yesterday, averaged mid-90s on his fastball, touched 97 twice. So it looks like Graveman with Tommy John has found an increase of velocity because he was throwing 93.7, 93 on average. So an extra 2 to 3, maybe 4 miles an hour on his fastball is something to watch. Obviously, I'm not going to let that steer my excitement or lack of excitement to play him today, but it is something to watch if you're a baseball purist and you just kind of see the evolution of a pitcher, particularly post Tommy John. I think if it was anybody other than the Astros, I'd probably want to take some more stands on or some shots on him. I think I'll allow myself to justify not to playing him here, right? If I wanted to pick on him, I mean, Astros are the Astros. Springer, Altuve, Bregman. What's their implied run total here? 5.6 implied run total. They're a minus 234 favorites. All that's a plus for Josh James. And then the usual suspects are all in play for the Astros. Okay, Epic Games. Epic Games wants me to update my launcher. Maybe later, buddy. What up, K. Johnson? Have to go back to Lewis, the ultimate boomer. But are you talking about Kyle Lewis from the Mariners? Yeah. 2 strikeouts, but always comes through by the end of the day. Yeah, maybe he's the new Joey Gallo. Let's move on to the next game. Looks like D-backs lineup is out. Indians hosting the White Sox. Pitching matchup featuring Dylan Cease taking on Aaron Savale. Man, pitching is something today. Dylan Cease struck out 8 during his last intra-squad action game, and his off-speed offerings early certainly seemed regular season ready. Right-hander said he feels as strong as ever as he has felt as a professional pitcher. Aaron Savale is the most stretched of all the Indian starters to begin the year. He threw over 100 pitches in an intra-squad outing and will look to build on the momentum he had in his rookie campaign. So it's easily safe to say that no pitcher coming into this season was stretched out to 100-plus pitches. But it looks like that's not the case here. So that makes him curious as a guy that maybe can stretch and cover some mistakes. White Sox offensively, maybe nothing to pick on or go out of your way to pick on. But hey, it's a stretched out pitcher at under 8K on FanDuel. He's right there at the same price point at Tyler Glasnow. I really can't justify that with the 8.8% swing and strike rate. It's going to be more of a contact guy, particularly against righties, and this lineup will have several of those. So I really just don't see myself being super stoked to play him, but that's the story of this slate. And then Dylan Cease, 6,300 on FanDuel. What? There's a 3K discrepancy between Cease on FanDuel and his DraftKings price. I mean, that's a massive jump. But like I said, he did get 10 strikeouts in his last scrimmage. Last season, he had 11.1% swing and strike rate, so we do see the strikeout potential there. However, it looks like he suffered much more against lefties and righties, a 5.09 xFIP, a high average, a high home run per 9. and this is going to be a lefty-heavy lineup, a lot of switch hitters as well. The home run per nine seems like it has a lot of room for regression. To have a 27.5% hard contact rate, which is like 10% plus below league average, and a low fly ball rate, and to have a home run per nine at 2.3, like that doesn't even seem possible. But here we are. So I'm very curious to see like what happened there. Dylan Cease. This is more of a mathematical nerd thing because that should never happen if it has a sample size. 35 innings. All right, so not a big sample size there, but he does. So in last season did have more home runs per nine, more than one per nine against both sides of the plate. Did he just have like one game where he just got destroyed? Like that's a lot of home runs for that hard contact and fly ball rate. Home run 2-2. No, he only had a couple games where he allowed two or more than one home run. 3. That doesn't make sense to me. But the strikeout potential's there. I guess if it was any team other than the Indians, much like my Astros spiel here, I'd probably take some shots at 6,300 Dylan Cease. But that xFIP and average allowed against lefties against a lineup that should project pretty lefty heavy is a problem. Jose Ramirez looking pretty sharp yesterday, a pair of homers. Lindor, Santana, not guys I want to go out of my way to pick on. What's the implied total for the Indians here? 5.1. White Sox 4.5. Whew, pitching is so tough today, man. So tough. Stack-wise, Yohan Moncada had the day off yesterday. He should be back in the lineup today. A little bit fresh leg. So Anderson, Moncada, Abreu. And the White Sox got mollywopped yesterday as well. So they'll be looking to get back some pride. I mean, these are two offenses that have the ability to go off at any given time. So certainly would probably be teams that I stack just based on talent and merit alone. So yeah, they'll be in my stack pool today. Let's move on to the next game. Royals at the Tigers. Here are two teams that haven't looked great and have struck out quite a bit in their first couple games. On the bump here, projected to be Mike Montgomery. He was somebody I thought might have pitched yesterday, but he didn't. He's going to start the first of 4 games in Detroit. Lefty pitched his best game as a Royal last August 10th, also in Detroit, when he threw 7 scoreless innings, and he struck out 12. Michael Fulmer pitching for the Tigers. He's going to pitch Detroit's home opener for his first competitive start in 22 months. It's almost 2 years. Having come back from right knee and elbow surgeries, he'll be more of an opener for now. Manager Ron Gardenhire said with a 3-inning maximum like Daniel Norris late last year. So immediately that's going to pull Fulmer off the board consideration-wise. And it's going to make us know, hey, the Tigers bullpen, nothing to run from. So normally that would make me curious with the opposing team, but it's still the Royals at the end of the day. Mike Montgomery does have a big power problem against right-handed hitters, a 1.73 home run per nine, 273 average allowed, and a 43.7% hard contact rate. And it actually kind of coincides with his power problems to lefties as well. So Tigers might be a team that come in too cheap, all things considered. I mean, Cameron Maiden, bare bones min on FanDuel. Why are there so many drastic differences between FanDuel and DraftKings today? Like, we've seen some egregious cases. CJ Crone, easily a plug and play for me on both sides. Over 300 average, over 400 WOBA against lefties, slugging 591. He's looked pretty sharp to start the season. So if he's in that cleanup spot against a lefty, sure, we'll take that. And Miguel Cabrera, well, he hasn't been as consistent the last couple years. He did homer over the weekend as well, so he's still got some pop left in him. Jonathan Scope, no warm and fuzzies there, but like all the Tigers are playable in my opinion. Austin Romine also homered over the weekend. But give me Maven at 2K on FanDuel and CJ Crone easily. But CJ Crone just might be one of the better plays of the slate. Like he profiles so well. Michael Fulmer, we really can't speculate off of stats from 2 years ago before X amount of surgeries. But he was okay and serviceable against righties when it comes to suppressing power. This Royals lineup doesn't have a whole lot of power. Maybe Jorge Soler is a guy you worry about. But we do have some contact hitters. Whit Merrifield, Adalberto Mondesi. If these guys were to get on, they also have the ability to steal bases. And stealing bases, as if you guys have played Tommy Pham over the weekend, they add up quick. A couple stolen bases, and you got home run points before long. So if we're going to have some contact pitching today, I certainly don't mind guys that can take advantage of that and maybe get some stolen base points for my lineup. Implied run total here for the Tigers, 5 runs. The Royals, 4.6 runs. So no pitching here. I do show some slight wind to left field, so maybe keep an eye on that. But no warm and fuzzies overall, right? Give me some Tigers bats for sure. What up, Adam? Any weather concerns? Maybe look at Cincinnati, Cleveland. Those are 2 games that I see yellow on, but I'm not a weatherman, and I haven't actually looked at it. So, but those are 2 games you'd probably have to check out. Crone is my lock of the day. Yeah, CJ Crone just seems like he's way too cheap. Opportunity cost is great. Matchup's fine. All day long, all day strong, right? A couple games left. Mets at the Red Sox. So this game will probably be one of your more chalky targets offensively for lineup construction. Mets are pitching Michael Wacha. He'll be going against Josh Osich. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But Osich is going to be the opener. Wacha, the odd man out of the rotation entering spring training, moves into the 4th starter role after Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman's injuries. He'll pitch in Boston for the first time since the 2013 World Series. Josh Osich will be Boston's first opener this season. After 218 career appearances, all in relief, lefty makes his first career start. Look for him to go 1 or 2 innings before Zach Godley comes in and picks up some long reliever duties. So, you guys might remember Zach Godley from the Diamondbacks a couple years ago. So it's another situation where you might have to do some double research. So if you guys were taking notes, remember after Stephen Brault, we're expecting Chad Kuhl. And then after after Josh Osich, we'll be expecting Zach Godley. So those are things we know. And maybe more information bleeds out throughout the day. So Michael Wacha, big contact guy, sub 10% swing and strike rate. Sierra over 5, xFIP close to 5. Definitely a guy that's going to dare you to put the ball in play. Had a 1.45 home run per 9 to lefties last season, a 2.1 home run per 9 to righties with a 42.2% hard contact rate. This would be a slot machine spot for me. If you guys are as heavily invested in JD Martinez as I was yesterday, I'll probably go right back to the well. For whatever reason, these Red Sox games are always projected high scoring. The Mets have an implied run total of 6 runs, and the Red Sox are at 5.7. So it looks like this is clearly your highest total game of the slate, and it's probably going to feature 2 really poor bullpens. You saw what the Mets bullpen did last night against the Braves. And, of course, this Red Sox pitching staff just gave up 2 games to the Baltimore Orioles. I didn't expect the Red Sox to be good, but the Orioles look like, the old slugger Orioles with Chris Davis and Mark Trumbo and guys like that. So, definitely a game stack potential here. I love these Mets to kind of come out with some vengeance. Everyone's in play for me. Cespedes, Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Conforto, even Robbie Cano. Like, every Met's in play for me today if this is my projected lineup. We'll rotate them. I know the lefty is starting this game, but that's not going to stop me from playing guys like Nimmo. If Nimmo was their 9-hole hitter, there's a good chance Nimmo doesn't even face Osich, and then he'll face Zach Godley. So let's put Zach Godley in the machine here, and we can look at his splits. Last year against lefties, a 5 xFIP, a high average, and a 1.33 home run per 9. And against righties, a 1.41 home run per 9 with a near 6 xFIP. So it's going to not get better for these Mets on paper. So Mets might be the highest owned stack of the day. I don't want to say might. They probably are the highest owned stack of the day. And 90-plus degree temperatures out there in Fenway. So, yikes. This slate is so bad for pitching. Like I said, there might be a little bit of leverage to be had in fading Glasnow and FanDuel. But no other pitcher on this slate is going to make you feel any type of confidence. So I might just bite the bullet on these Josh James Glasnow combos and hope for the best. And I don't even love Glasnow's matchup either. You're just banking on his talent at that point. Definitely one of the worst pitching slates I've seen in a while, considering how many games there are. Yikes. It's a yikes. Big yikes. What do you guys got? Any hot takes? Any teams that you're on? Pitchers that you like that we didn't profile? Drop it in chat. If not, please, before you hit the door, hit that thumbs up, man. Show me some love on the video. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Monday afternoon. Or it's not even afternoon yet. Monday morning, almost afternoon. And I will maybe keep the early morning streams going and maybe get a habit made here. We'll see. I don't know what you guys prefer. But we do have NBA at the end of this week, so we will be having some NBA content for that. Should be getting Raj back to co-host, so we'll have more than just me rambling back and forth, right? If you guys are on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker DMs are open. Reach out to me. I don't mind answering questions and interacting with you guys. But like I said, help me out, man. Hit that thumbs up on this video. Show me some love. After a couple months off from sports and creating content, the channel gets kind of in an idle state, and the YouTube algorithm doesn't show my channel as much love. So the way for me to scratch and claw my way back into the algorithm is for you guys to interact with the channel, leaving comments, participating chat, thumbs up, subscribing, hit that notification bell. And if you're on Twitter, you can always retweet anytime I tweet out the videos. Anyway, back to live chat before we get out of here. Matt Proto says Ramos or Perez, Salvi Perez or Wilson Ramos. Probably Wilson Ramos from where I'm sitting now. Arkansas's Marlin pitchers allowing no runs today. Oof. Okay, buddy. FD is free mode. Yeah, FanDuel, you just play Josh James and you do whatever the F you want. And it's going to get ugly out there. Like, I have a lot of entries reserved tonight, and after kind of looking at the slate, like, part of me wants to pull back, but part of me is like, do we even have baseball tomorrow? So we should just go all in. What up, K Johnson? Not Raj. Not only Raj, but potentially some face cam discussion as well. Mr. 50 Bomb, yes sir. What up, James? Appreciate that. Billy says you had a free $100. What two teams am I parlaying today? What two teams? Probably. Astros would be the anchor, probably. That's a tough one, dude. Astros. Today's really that ugly. I don't think I'd be parlaying money lines. I'd probably be parlaying game totals. So, like, the total for the Mets and Red Sox is 11.5, 12. Houston and Reds. So I'm scared to bet on the Reds because I just, you don't know if they all have Corona, no? It's bad. Gotta get the NBA stream. Yeah, NBA streams are coming back by the end of this week. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. NBA is gonna be a little bit more controlled in terms of less risk, and also all the games are over early. They're all East Coast games. Speaking of that, all the games are over for baseball pretty early tonight as well. That last game is a 7:35 p.m. first pitch. So I might even get wonky and do a stream tonight. So maybe look out for that, and that'll just allow me to be done with that video. Other than that, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, kind of lurking all day. So if you guys want to chat with us as you're doing your research, feel free to jump in here and chat it up with us. All of your regular names that you know and love from the YouTube chat are in there. We'll be cranking it up. 2 hours before lock with me in voice chat. You guys can grab a mic, jump in there, join the conversation, or just listen in and do well. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to OnlyFans. Okay, buddy. I think tomorrow's gonna decide what MLB does. Yeah, I agree. It's such a crazy time, but Rob Manfred doesn't get any benefit of the doubt from me. I mean, this guy is a clown. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I love each and every one of you, man. Hope you guys crush it tonight. If you do well, let me know on Twitter. I love seeing you guys succeed. Otherwise, I'll see you either late tonight for a live stream or tomorrow for another baseball video. Good luck. God bless.